I just want to start this video by prefacing that update 1.4 looks absolutely bonkers. I don't normally do update videos because I don't find them super interesting, and I'm usually just talking about the events that are coming up, and again, not very interesting. There is so much stuff happening in 1.4 that it would be silly not to talk about it, because it's fantastic for everyone involved, for new players, returning players, for players still playing. It is easily the biggest and best update we have received, bar none. There's no competition. Starting off with easily the biggest news of them all is that everyone is just getting a free S-Rank character. And not just, not just a simple standard, S-Rank banner character. We're getting Harumasa, who is set to be released in update 1.4. So in the same way that Star Rail went and said, oh, you know what, we'll release Dr. Ratio, but at the same time, we'll give everyone a free one. The same thing is happening to Zenless Zone Zero. Everyone is getting a free copy of Harumasa. I believe he's claimable between versions 1.4 and 1.6, so that's like a good 2 or 3 months. And that is absolutely fantastic news. As someone who saw Harumasa, I saw some of his gameplay, and I was like, I really like the idea of a bow user who is also melee focused. Very cool, very fun. Another male S-Rank. There's only really 2 of them that are limited time if you think about it. Really looked like a lot of fun, and I really wanted to pull for the character, but at the same time I was aware that Miyabi would be coming out relatively soon, and she is the hotly anticipated character. Unsurprisingly, something about Hoyo and creating katana wielding ice characters that people just lose their mind for. The same thing happened to, oh my god, I can't remember her name, it's been so long since I've used her. Ayaka, there we go, I found it. But yeah, Harumasa's coming out, really wanted to pull him, was going to try and pull him. Now I don't have to, I can save my polychromes. Fantastic, he's free, everyone gets him, absolutely phenomenal. On top of that, the hotly anticipated Miyabi is being released. I will be pulling for her. I'm pretty sure I've got a guarantee, so she will be coming home, which is great news because she is looking really, really good. So there's that. On top of that, the banner for this one is going to be a dual banner, and it's just going to run for the whole of the update. So both Miyabi and Harumasa on, I think it's the 18th of December, will just be available for however long update 1.4 is. So, you don't have to wait for one to get the other. If you want to get more copies of Harumasa, you don't have to wait for phase 2. It is just very simply, here you go. They're both available for about 6-ish weeks. Do what you want to do. Amazing. I love it. Great. Fantastic. On top of that, there is just so many additional updates that just make this such a good update overall. We're getting more story content, which is to be expected with a new update. Along with this new update, we're getting less time in the TV world. And I know that some people like it. I don't really like it. The combat of Zenless Zone Zero is clearly the highlight. Don't get me wrong, doing only combat would get very boring very quickly. So I'm glad that there is something to break up the monotony of doing combat for like 5 to 10 minutes straight. It does get very boring after 5 to 10 minutes straight of just doing combat. That's why I kind of have to do the end game stuff in like short bursts, because I will just drive myself into insanity. The TV minigame, whatever you want to call it, exploration, I don't think it's very fun. I think a lot of people say the same thing. Some people don't, that's fine. What they're doing is they're creating a new system where you're going to be playing as your own little Bangboo, and you get to do like little platforming stuff, and it's going to be more exploration focused rather than just the TV minigame, going from, I think it's chapter 3 onwards, don't quote me on that. But if you still want to do TV minigame, it's still going to be there and you're still going to be able to do it, but they're just going to take less focus away from it, which is, in my opinion, absolutely fantastic. Of course, with new story content, we get new areas, we're getting more endgame content, which is fantastic. We're going to be receiving 2 new Bangboos. One of them just punches stuff, and one of them goes through doors and has like a blaster. No idea why. Very cool, very cute, is whatever. And then quite possibly one of the biggest updates to the combat the game has received, or may ever receive, at least for some time, is the new Decibel Ultimate system. Now, what's one problem with this game when it comes to the combat? It is the fact that every single one of your characters shares an ultimate. If you have a Lucy, Bernice, Jane on the field, only one of them gets to use that ult. And if you're doing Bernice's, it means you can't use Jane Doe's to build up assault. So you have to pick and choose who you want to do. If you're using something like Zhu Yan for a burst team, then obviously you're going to want to use Zhu Yan for her incredible burst damage. Unfortunately, that sucks for a character like Nicole, who has a massive AoE black hole with her ultimate, but I never use it. I've used it like twice, and that's been by accident, because why would I use her black hole to group all the enemies together when her skill, black hole, tends to do the job decently enough, and then I can burst with my Zhu Yan and kill everything. I don't understand why I would ever choose to use anyone else's ult other than my main DPS, unless there's like an intrinsic reason for it. Now, I don't have to do that. Every single character on your team will now have their own ultimate meter to keep track of, which is fantastic. Which means I can now use Nicole to create a massive black hole and bring every single enemy on the stage into a lovely centered piece, switch to a Zhu Yan, burst down with that, and it is fantastic. When I heard about this change, I was really excited to get to grips with it, because I think it just is going to make such a massive difference to combat. It is going to be unreal. And the likelihood is it's probably going to make combat easier for a little while until they learn to balance around it. For the time being, I'm just very glad that when I see that icon, I don't have to be so frugal with who uses it, which is absolutely fantastic. On top of that, we will also be having, by the looks of things, all of the agents that you have unlocked will now be usable in the overworld. So for me, I don't know if it was only ever Bernice that they allowed you to use, but I have access to Wise and Belle, obviously, and then I've had Bernice ever since I got her. But by the looks of things, with the latest update, just every character you own will now be usable in the overworld, or whatever you want to call it. So you can explore with your favorite character. Speaking of favorite characters, we also have Hangout Events. So instead of bringing them up and then choosing dialogue trees and then just picking whichever option gives you, trust, you will now be able to go and have like a hangout sort of date with them. It's whatever. It's just a thing to help increase their trust rank with you. That's a little bit different from just pressing dialogue boxes, I guess. I couldn't care less for it. It's not for me. But it's something a little bit different, so it's a nice change, I guess. And then on top of all that, but we have a quality of life update for the coffee system. And this one is fantastic. It is just a very simple, if you choose the 60 energy regen option, they will give you a one-time double drop rate for any material in combat simulation. You no longer have to just roll the dice and say, oh, maybe I'll get the electro one today. Maybe I'll get the money one today. Doesn't matter. Any material you go for, you will get the one-time double drop rate. It is lovely. So there's no more randomness when it comes to the coffee. It's just, do you want the 80? Do you want the 60 with the double drop rate? Pick which one you want. And there you go. Oh, and then last but not least, I completely forgot about these. We, of course, have new disk drive sets. Now, how useful they will be, I do not know. But from looking at the first one, this one is clearly designed for Miyabi in mind, which is a shame because I can't farm it until 1.4 actually comes out. So we have the Branch and Blade Song, which for 2-piece is crit damage plus 16%. 4-piece, when Anomaly Mastery exceeds or equals 115 points, the equipper's crit damage increases by 30%. When any squad member applies freeze or triggers the shatter effect on an enemy, the equipper's crit rate increases by 12%, lasting 15 seconds. I imagine that's probably going to be what Miyabi's going to want. That's a pretty decent set. I mean, her whole thing is freezing, shattering. It looks like a pretty solid set from what I can gather. And on top of that, the 2-piece is just a very simple, here you go, have some more crit, which will be very nice for a number of characters and DPSs going forward. Alongside that, we have the Astral Voice, which is a very simple 2-piece, is attack percent. And then the 4-piece is whenever any squad member enters the field using a quick assist, all squad members gain 1 stack of Astral up to a maximum of 3 and lasting 15 seconds. Repeated triggers reset the duration. Each stack of Astral increases the damage dealt by the character entering the field using a quick assist by 8%. Only one of this effect can be active at a time in the same squad. So damage can be increased by up to 24%. Not too sure how incredibly good or bad Astral Voice will be, but at the very least, Branch and Blade and Song will be a very good one to farm for. And then, any extra bonus of farming Astral Voice will be very, very nice. At the very least, the 2-piece of getting, attack percent up by 10, not terrible. So, yeah, I'll take it. But that's it for now. That's all I have to say. Absolutely insane update. There is so much to look forward to with this update. I honestly cannot wait. The 18th cannot come soon enough. I really, really want to build Harumasa and Miyabi, and I hate that I have to wait another week and a half to even do it, but it's just so much to look forward to with this update that I couldn't help but talk about it. It's just, again, it's just so much. There's so much to it. I'm very excited. Big update. What a Christmas miracle. Anyway, I've been James, the Mayor of Jamestown. Thank you for those that stuck around to the end. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and all that good stuff. And until next time, goodbye.